Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a victory or a landmark victory that I want to share with you guys, at least if this bill so happens to pass and go through. Now, just over this past week, Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky introduced this landmark bill that basically halts the warrantless searches of American persons. No joke, this is huge. If this doesn't pass in Congress, I'm truly going to question who we have serving in the Congress. And we already know there's a lot of crazy people in there who are not about the freedoms of America, but who in their right mind would be okay with warrantless searches of the American people, which that's the whole thing that the NSA has been about, that the CIA, who created another NSA, has all been about. Well, time to make that stop with this landmark bill. Now, let me just throw it up on the screen so you can see it for yourself. But the bill is called Uniting and Strengthening America by Reforming and Improving Government's High-Tech Surveillance Act of 2017. The U.S. Rights Act of 2017. Now, there's a lot of things that this bill gets into, but I'm going to go through each of the sections for you. And there's also a one-page kind of summary on this too that I want to show you as well. But on the third page here, Section 2, clarification of prohibition on querying of collections of communications to conduct warrantless queries for the communications of U.S. persons and persons inside the U.S. Now, what this basically does is end the backdoor searches on American people. Currently, they have, or under the current law, the government can conduct unlimited warrantless searches of you through the vast data collection under 702 for private communications to and from about Americans. It now is requiring, with this particular one, that they have to get a warrant. If you look at the bottom of the page there, no officer or an employee of the U.S. may conduct a query of information acquired under this section in effort to find communications of or about particular U.S. persons or people inside the U.S. Now, there's an exception to be made in B, and that's under some kind of threat of someone's life or something to that aspect there. All right, so moving on a little bit, we have Section 3. And this particular section is ending reverse targeting. Basically, what happens now is our government can acquire information on foreigners if there's some kind of terrorist activity or something of that nature. So if a foreigner is interacting with an American, which they do all the time, everywhere, I'm sure, you know, you go somewhere. Well, now the government can legally say, oh, well, you talked to this foreign person, so I'm going to collect your data. Well, it halts all of that. It says prohibition of reverse targeting under certain authorities of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978. What this does is it requires a warrant when a significant purpose of targeting foreigners is to collect the communication of Americans. So that, I believe, is another good one there in that section. Moving on to Section 4, number 10 down the page. But prohibition on acquisition pursuant of certain FISA authorities to target certain persons outside the United States of communications that do not include persons targeted under such authorities. Basically, you're going to ban the government from collecting information, not from foreign targets, not from a certain foreigners, but codify the ban on bouts of collection. All right, Section 5 here, prohibition on acquisition of entirely domestic communications under authorities to target certain people outside of the U.S. This just bans them from messing with and collecting information on domestic citizens. That would be you and me. Obviously, foreigners are excluded from that, but as it prohibits collection of domestic communications, that's exactly what that is. The next section here, limitation on the use of information obtained under certain authority of Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1947 relating to the United States person. Basically, it stops the misuse of information on America and can collect if they suspect you of being some sort of terrorist or part of a terrorist organization. And hopefully, knowing how our government is, that doesn't change. You know, they don't, I don't know. It's so iffy the way that they work. They can put whoever they want on those terror lists anymore. But it's still a move in the right direction that we're heading in this direction. All right, Section 13. And I'm not going to read all of these. You can go through them. I'm just going to kind of hit the big ones here. But reforms of privacy and civil liberty oversight form. That's just what that is kind of reforming that. It strengthens the oversight by authorizing it to review all foreign intelligence surveillance program. The next one here. Okay, Section 8 here, improved role in oversight of electronic surveillance. Basically, you're strengthening your FISA court there. The rest of it is, you know, improving transparency. And then in conclusion, what they're doing is establishing a 4-year sunset. Basically, the last page here says that they are going to scratch off, because it was supposed to end December 31st of 2017. They're saying we want to extend that 4 years to September 30th, 2021. So kind of expanding all of that as well. And I think this is a huge victory, if you will, in the fact that it's a move in the right direction to attempt to get them to stop the surveillance on the American people. And if they continue to do so, I know there's parts of this, I've read the bill in its entirety, where they say, well, if the data is collected, it won't be allowed to be used in court. So there's rules on that, there's stipulation on that. Now, if Congress doesn't pass this bill, if this doesn't go through the House or the Senate, obviously I think Donald Trump will sign it. But we really need to sweep house yet again. This is a landmark thing that I don't think should sit dead in the water, but it needs to get its boat rolling. So contact your senators, contact your congressmen, let them know about this, send them a copy and say, stand with us, do the right thing, and protect the American people, because we're not about your tyranny. We're not about you holding our freedoms. We're not about these warrantless searches and collecting endless data on the American people like you do in your fusion centers. If you've not Googled fusion centers, I encourage you to do so. The time to stop is now on all of that. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Please don't forget to check out my partner at getthetea.com. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. He has the most amazing tea benefits and supplements and products on planet Earth. I'm convinced, just in my opinion, obviously, but they work amazingly, especially the tea, and the colostrum's really good as well. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. If you like what you heard, subscribe, share it on all your social media outlets, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to my backup vlog channel. Anyhow, I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.